Good morning, students. Saira, how are you getting on? I hope that you all are giving a proper time to your studies at home, and I wish that you are doing your home assignment too. Okay, students, so let us move on with our new unit today. In the previous videos, we have completed 2 units of Beehive and 2 chapters of Moment. Today, we are going to further move on to the 3rd unit of Beehive. But before starting with that unit, I want to ask a simple question from you all. What relation actually you share with your parents? There are going to be very different answers. Some will say that, ma'am, we are very afraid of a father or mother. But we have never analyzed that why they are so strict with us. We never analyzed why they are so strict with us. But we always blame that they are so strict, they have never loved us. But actually the truth is that they love us so much that they even become strict with us. Their strictness is not actually their hatred toward us. That is their real love. Because they never want us to become a spoiled child. That's why they scold us. Their strictness is not their hatred. So never hate your parents for being a strict parents. Love them because they just become strict to make you good, to teach you the lesson of life. Behind their strictness, there is a deep love for you. So always love and respect your parents. Today, we are going to start with a new lesson that has the same theme, the theme of bond of a child with their parents. So let us begin with that chapter. The chapter is The Little Girl by Catherine Mansfield. But before starting with that chapter, let us learn about our author Catherine Mansfield. Catherine Mansfield, born in the year 1888 and died in the year 1923, one of the New Zealand's most famous writer, one of the most highly regarded short story writer of the 20th century. She also wrote letters, reviews, and journals in her prolific career. Mansfield wrote several short story collections, with some of her most popular story being The Garden Party, A Dill Pickle, Mr. and Mrs. Dove, and The Fly. So this was about our author Catherine Mansfield. Let us see a brief introduction about our chapter, The Little Girl. The story is about a little girl who had developed extreme fear of her father. She loved her father, but she feared him more. She longed to play with her father, but she knew that it was impossible. But later, her thinking changed for her father. The parents are always concerned for their children, and beneath the strictness lies the heart full of love for the children. And this bond of love between parents and children are highlighted here in the story. So this was the introduction, and there are some difficult words in this chapter. So let us move on with them also. The first word is stutter. The word is stutter. That means to stammer or to speak with a pause. The next word is gravely. Gravely, which means seriously. The next word is wandered into. Wandered into, which means went into. The next word is hue and cry. Hue and cry, which means lots of shouting. The next word is clung. Clung, which means to attach yourself to something. And the last word is tugged up. Tugged up, which means covered up nicely. So these are the words and their meanings. And now you know that your home assignment is to make sentences with these words. So don't forget to make sentences, and this will help you to build your vocabulary too. So daily you have to make sentences with the words I am giving to you. So now let us move on to our explanation. The first paragraph of this stanza says, the first paragraph of this chapter says that to the little girl he was a figure to fear and avoided. Here the writer is saying that to the little girl, the girl who is the protagonist of the story, he was a figure to fear. He was a figure here stand for that she is afraid of a person. Who is that person? That was her father, and she avoided her father. So the first line give a direct message that the little girl was very afraid of her father and she always avoided him. So let us move on to the next line. Every morning before going to work, he came into her room and gave her a casual kiss, to which she responded with, "Goodbye, father." And oh, there was a glad sense of relief when she heard the noise of the carriage growing fainter and fainter down the long road. So it was the daily routine of the father that whenever he used to go to office, before leaving the house, he would go to her room and he would kiss her, and then she would say that goodbye father, and then he leaves. After he leaves, there is a relief for that girl. She take a sigh of relief because now she feel relieved that there is no one at home to behave in a very strict manner with her, and that's why it was a good sense for her, or a happy sense, that she feels very relaxed after her father leave for the office. Okay, so the next line says that in the evening when he came home, she stood near the staircase and heard his loud voice in the hall. So when in the evening her father returned, she used to stand near the staircase and she listened to the voice. She heard the voice of her father and she just stand there, because whenever her father returned from the office, he used to shout in a loud voice for her, for his essential things, and that's why she used to stand there, because she's very afraid of her father and she doesn't want to go in front of him and she doesn't want to face him, and that's why she just stand near the staircase and she's still hearing the loud voice of her father. Okay, so the next line says that bring my tea into the drawing room. Hasn't the paper come yet? Mother, go and see if my paper's out there, and bring me my sleepers. So now he used to say that whenever he returned back from his office, he gave order to everyone. Some used to bring his tea, some bring newspaper for him, and some bring sleepers for him. So he has the habit to give orders to everyone. So now the line says that please bring my tea in the drawing room, and now he ordered his mother that go and please check whether my paper has come or not, and he asked for his sleepers. Now Kezia, mother would call to her, if you are good girl, you can come down and take off father's boot. Now her mother would call Kezia. The name of the little girl is Kezia. She called mother of Kezia called Kezia, and she would say that please come downstairs, and if you are a good girl, please take out the boots of your father. Slowly the girl would slip down the stairs, more slowly still across the hall, and push open the drawing room door. Now as we all come to know that she is very afraid of her father, so she used to come very slowly and slowly because she doesn't want to face him, and that's why she come very slowly and slowly from the stairs, and then she very slowly opens the door of the drawing room because she doesn't want to come there. But as it was order given to her that she has to come downstairs and she has to take off father's boot, so that's why she was coming there, but she was coming very slowly and slowly. By the time he had his spectacles on and looked at her over them in a way that was terrifying to the little girl. Now, Kezia's father used to wear specs, and he used to see with that to her. Now she was very afraid that in the way her father used to look at her, that was a very terrifying look for her. Well, Kezia, hurry up and pull off these boots and take them outside. Have you been a good girl today? So now his father used to say that, Kezia, please hurry up and pull out these shoes. And at last he used to ask, tell me, have you been a good girl today? Now she would answer in a very stammering way. She used to stutter a lot in front of her father. Stutter, as we all come to know, that means when we pause while we speak, that is known as stutter. So she used to stutter while she speaks, and the way she gave answer was, don't know, father. And this is the way she used to give answer to her father. And now her father used to mimic her, and he says that, you don't know, if you stutter like that, mother, will you have to take you to the doctor? Now he gave order to his mother that if she stutter like this, please take her to the doctor. But the thing was that she never stuttered with other people's. It was quite that she used to do this with with her father only, because she was trying hard to say words properly in front of him, because she was very afraid of his father. Now he asked, what's the matter? Why you are looking so wretched about? Mother, I wish you taught this child not to appear on the brink of suicide. Here, Kezia carry my teacup back to the table carefully. So now, as she was very afraid and was standing like a worried child, because she doesn't want to face him and she doesn't want to stand there in the drawing room, she was very sad. On looking, by looking on her face, now Kezia father look at her and he feels that she is not happy. She is very unhappy. That was the look on her face. And he asked the mother that she should teach Kezia that she should not look like as if she is going to end her life. What he means to say here, that she is making such faces that she doesn't have any, she doesn't want to live any longer. And that's why he tells the mother that she should teach Kezia to look happy, not to make such faces. And now Kezia father give her the teacup and tell her to just keep it on the table. Here, this is the feeling, this is the vision that Kezia has for her father. She feels that her father was so big, he was just like a giant. And the writers say that Kezia felt that his hands and his neck and his mouth were all so huge, especially when he yawned. It seemed as if he was a huge monster. And whenever Kezia thought about her father, she felt that she was thinking about a giant. So this was Kezia's view about her father, that according to Kezia, her father was like a huge giant, a huge monster. Whenever he yawned, he'll just look like a huge monster to her. So that's why she compared her father to a huge monster. So every Sunday during the afternoon, Kezia's grandmother sent her downstairs to the drawing room in order to spend time with her parents. So Kezia was supposed to behave like a nice and a decent way. She has to behave in a very nice and a decent way in front of her parents. And they had a formal get together on Sunday. So here we feel that Kezia is a bit neglected. Every Sunday afternoon, when she went to her parents to meet them in the drawing room and to have a very nice talk with them, they were busy doing their own things. Her mother was busy reading and her father was busy sleeping and snoring. So Kezia had this image of her parents in her mind. They did not talk with her, they did not spend time with her. On the other hand, they were busy doing their own things. So all the while Kezia's father was asleep. She would just sit on a stool and watch him carefully till the time he would wake up and stretch his body and then would ask the time and look at her. So this was how their Sunday used to be spent. Her grandmother used to force her to go and spend time with her parents, but her parents doesn't have time to spend with her. And whenever she saw her father sleeping, she just sat like a very good child on a stool and she used to just watch her father, that how he's sleeping, how he's snoring. And his father has a routine, then whenever he get up, he just ask the time and would look at her. Don't stare so, Kezia. You look like a little brown owl. So whenever she used to stare at her father used to say that, don't stare like this. You just look like a little brown owl, the way you look at me. So now Kezia was not well. She had a cold and so she was supposed to stay at home. And her grandmother suggested that as she was at home and her father's birthday was approaching, she could make a birthday gift for him. She asked Kezia to make a pin cushion for him, and she also gave her a yellow colored fabric of silk to make the cushion. Now grandmother gave idea to Kezia that you should make a present for your father on his birthday, and you can do one thing, that you can make a pin cushion, and she gave a piece of cloth also to Kezia. She gave a yellow colored fabric of silk to make cushion. Now Kezia put in lot of effort to make the birthday gift. She used double cotton and she stitched three sides of the cushion. Double cotton is a thread. And now she has stitched the three sides of the cushion. The fourth side is open to fill something in it. But what to fill in? That was the question. So Kezia was confused that what she can use to fill in it. She wandered here and there as her grandmother was out in the garden and she was just looking for something. Then she reached her mother's room. She was looking for bits of paper or cloth to stuff in the cushion. Now Kezia is a small girl, little girl. She is very young, and now what she should do? On the bed table she found a heap of sheets of paper. So she just gathered all the sheets and tore them and stuffed those pieces of paper into the cushion. So when she went to her mother's bedroom, she saw that near the bed table there was a heap of bundle of papers, and she just tore those paper and stuffed the cushion with that. To, the stuffed that cushion with those tore papers. Now she stitched the fourth side of the cushion. Now the gift, the present was prepared for her father. So many of we can relate this to this act, that many children do such things unknowingly. We have no intentions to hurt our parents, but she doesn't know what she is doing. She just found certain papers and she tore those papers and filled that cushion. But something going to happen now. Now there was a lot of shouting in the house because Kezia's father had prepared a speech for the Port Authority. It was a particular meeting for which he has prepared a speech, that is for Port Authority, and he was unable to find it. Now we all know where the speech has gone. The speech has gone into the cushion because Kezia has torn those sheets, those bundle of sheets, and she has filled it in the cushion. It has been torn into tiny pieces and Kezia has stuffed it into the cushion. Now the family searched everywhere. They asked the servants, but no one knew where the sheets of paper had gone. And finally the mother reached the Kezia's room. Kezia, now the mother asked to Kezia, Kezia, I suppose you didn't see some papers on a table in our room? Now the mother is asking to Kezia that did you see, or we are supposed that you didn't see anything over there. That means she is asking indirectly that did you went to a room and see the bundle of paper on a bed table. Now so Kezia mother asks her that did she see some paper lying on a table in her mother's room. Now she answered in a very innocent way, oh yes, she said. I tore them up for my surprise. Now she has revealed that she has tore those bundle of papers, those sheet, those speech of port authority, and she has tore them to just fill her surprise. Now Kezia's mother is so furious when she comes to know that Kezia has torn the speech that her father is looking for. And so she orders Kezia to come down into the dining room at that very moment. Now Kezia's father is full of tension as his important document has been lost. Kezia has torn it into pieces. Now Kezia will be scolded for the mischief that she has done, but not intentionally. She was innocent. She doesn't know about those papers, but still she will be punished for that mischief. He stopped and stared at that child. Now his father is staring at Kezia and he is asking to her, did you do that? And again she started stuttering. No, no, she whispered. She can't even say it properly and she just whispered that in her own self. Mother, go up to her room and fetch down the damn thing. See that child's put to bed this instant. Now he ordered his mother that you should go to her room and bring that damn thing for means that unwanted thing that is not important, that is the gift, the cushion which she had made. He is referring that here, damn thing here is referred to the cushion she has made for her father. And he also ordered that you should also see that she just go to her bed and sleep. Kezia wanted to justify her action as she was innocent. She did not mean to harm her father. She was just preparing a surprise birthday gift for him. Kezia was very sad. She had been happy that she had prepared a surprise for her father and he would like it. But on the other hand, she had accidentally committed a disaster. Then father came into the room with a ruler in his hand. And he said that I am going to beat you for this, he said. Oh no, 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 she screamed, hiding under the bedclothes. So when father came back to the room, he said to Kezia that I am going to beat you with the ruler. And she was so afraid that she was screaming, saying no and no, and she hid herself under the bedsheet. Bedclothes are the bedsheet or covering bedsheets. Now, here we come to know that why Kezia's father was being strict with her. Why was he punishing her? Because he wanted Kezia to know that these things which doesn't belong to you, you should not touch those things. He wanted to teach her this thing so that it benefited it in her future life. Right now she was a small kid. She did not know what was important and what was not important. That is why unknowingly she has torn the important document of her father. And so he was punishing her. He did not want to harm Kezia, but he wanted that Kezia should know that in future she should not touch anything that does not belong to her. But it was for your birthday. That was the statement given by Kezia to her father, that I made that for your birthday. Kezia's father hit the palm of her hand with a ruler. Now, without listening to her, he just hit Kezia on her pink little palms. Now, Kezia was so afraid, she had got beating. Her father had hit her small little palms with the rulers. And many hours later, her grandmother wrapped her in a shawl and was trying to pacify her. She was trying to control her tears. She was trying to calm her down. She made her sit in her lap on a rocking chair and she was trying to put Kezia to sleep. And Kezia clung to her grandmother. And she asked a simple question, that grandmother, what did God make fathers for? She sobbed. She was crying and she was asking a simple question from her grandmother, that why did God made fathers for? Now Kezia's grandmother was trying to pacify her. She gave her a handkerchief to blow her nose and go to sleep. She added that by morning Kezia would forget that beating. Kezia tried to justify herself. She said that she was trying to explain to him the reason for tearing the sheets of paper, but he was not ready to listen to her. So again, we see that the little child was so innocent that she does not realize that her father came or hit her to just teach a lesson that she should not touch anything that doesn't belong to her. Now, Kezia's grandmother had told her to go to sleep and that by morning she would forget the beating that her father gave her. But Kezia never forgot the beating that she had got. Whenever she saw her father approaching, she would keep her hands behind her back because she felt that maybe he wouldn't hit her again. And red color flew into her cheeks because whenever she saw her father, she got scared and her cheeks got red, full of red color. Here, the writer tells us that about the Kezia's neighbor. Her neighbor were a family named McDonald's. In all, McDonald's had 5 children, and Kezia would peep at them through a small hole in the fence. She would see that family had a lot of fun. They play a game called tag. Tag is a children's game of catching each other. So all the children along with their father would have a lot of fun. Mr. McDonald would make his little baby Mo sit on his shoulders, and the 2 little daughters that he had, they would hang on to his coat pocket. So all the children were so much attached to their father. They loved him so much that they would stick to him. And then they would run around the garden, around the flower beds, and they would laugh and laugh and laugh. Kezia also wanted to have such fun with her father, but she missed it. One day she saw that little sons of Mrs. McDonald opened the hose on him. They opened the water pipe and tried to make him wet. But Mr. McDonald was not angry. He tried to catch them and he was laughing. This was very strange for Kezia because her father was just the opposite of Mr. McDonald. Now, when Kezia saw Mr. McDonald, she realized that he was quite opposite to her father. She felt that God had made various kinds of father. One day, Kezia's mother fell ill, so she was taken to the hospital, and the grandmother also went along with her. Now Kezia was all alone with the cook. The name of the cook was Alice. Now Kezia was fine during the day, but at night, when the cook put Kezia to bed all alone, Kezia started feeling scared. Now she asked question from Alice, that what will I do if I have a nightmare? She said that what will I do if I will see a bad dream? Nightmare means a bad dream. Kezia explained to Alice that whenever she had nightmare, she would go to her grandmother and she would sleep with her. So she said that she could not stay alone in her dark room because she would be scared. She could hear different kinds of whispering sound which make her feel that there is someone with her or around her. So Kezia's father was sleeping in the next room and Alice told Kezia to sleep quietly. She removed Kezia's socks and asked her not to scream. She warned her not to scream, otherwise your father will wake up. And now Kezia was helpless. So now this is a nightmare that she often used to see, that she would see a butcher. So this butcher would hold a big knife in his hand, a huge butcher's knife, and a rope, and he would approach near to Kezia. He had a dreadful smile on his face, and once Kezia would see him, she would feel that she was unable to move. She was so much scared of him, she was terrified to see this butcher. And in her sleep, Kezia cried out for help. She called for her grandmother, and when Kezia woke up, she was shivering. She was trembling, and she saw that her father was standing next to her bed, and he was holding a candle in his hand. So Kezia's father had heard her screams, and he had heard that Kezia was calling for her grandmother, and he had come to help her. Now from this passage we come to know that oftenly Kezia used to see a dream in which she saw a butcher with a very big knife, that is the butcher's knife, and he used to give a very dreadful smile to Kezia, and Kezia get afraid of that, and she started crying out for help in her sleep, shivering, and she was trembling out of fear. But when she woke up, she saw that her father was standing near her bed, and he was holding a candle in his hand. Now he asked, Kezia, what's the matter? Why she was screaming? He asked from Kezia, why you are screaming? What happened? Kezia was still scared of that nightmare. She said that there was a butcher. He was holding a dreadful knife. She wanted her grandmother. Now she was crying for her grandmother because she wanted to hug her and want to sleep there. But she was not there. So here we can see the affection that Kezia's father has for her. He blew the candle off. He lifted her and carried her to his bedroom. Kezia's father lay her in his bed next to him and covered her with the top sheets. Top sheet is the blankets. Now Kezia felt her father's affection. At this moment, Kezia changed her opinion, and she saw that her father was having a caring nature also towards her, and she changed her opinion, and she felt that father's affection toward her. She went close to him. She snuggled herself towards her father. Snuggles means she hugged her father, and she held his t-shirt tightly so that she would not feel scared again. Now Kezia had overcome her fear of her father. Now she is not more anymore afraid of her father. She hugged him tightly, and now once Kezia was with her father, she was no longer afraid of that dream. Now his father asked Kezia to rub her feet against his legs so that they become warm. Now here Kezia realizes her mistake, and she had affection toward her father. She felt that her father was a poor man. He worked so hard. He was not as he was not so big, so she found him to be earlier like a giant, like a huge monster. He is not like that. Now she felt that her father was a poor man who worked hard, and so he got so tired that he went off to sleep and did not play with her like Mr. McDonald did with his children. But Kezia felt that her father's heart was also full of love for her. She realizes that she has torn up his important document, the speech that he has written, and all this realization makes sure that a deep breath. She realizes that she had been wrong, and that's why her father had beaten her, and that's why he was so strict with her. Although Kezia's father was asleep, he heard her sigh. He heard the sound that Kezia made and asked her, "What's the matter? Why was she again watching a bad dream?" Kezia replied to her father that she had placed her head on her father's heart, and she could hear his heartbeat, and she complimented her father that he had a big heart. So Kezia is showing her love for her father as she had realized that her father also loved her. So this was the chapter, the little girl, that is about Kezia, who at once was very afraid of her father, but at last she realizes that behind that strictness there was a big heart which is full of love and care for her. So now let us move on to the theme of this lesson, that is the little girl. The story is based on the theme of a young child's point of view about her father. And through the story, Little Girl, the writer wants to portray the bond of love, care between the parents and their children, and how that care of her father changed her opinion about him. So, this care which Kezia's father showed toward Kezia has really changed the opinion of Kezia towards him. So this was the theme of this chapter, that is the bond which a parent and a children share with each other. Now, the title. If we talk about the title, The Little Girl, yes, the title is apt because it actually talk about the little girl and the whole story moves around her. The main action are taken by her, and the whole episodes, all the episodes of the story describes the experience, opinions, observations made by Kezia. So the story is in fact narrated from the point of view of Kezia alone. So the title is appropriate. Now this was your explanation, the theme of your chapter and the title also. Let us move on to the last section, that is your home assignment. Students, there are total 4 questions for your home assignment which you have to do. Again, I'm repeating, either in your old notebooks or in your rough notebook. No need to make a separate notebooks for your home assignment. So this is your home assignment. There are total 4 questions and you all have to attempt this 4 question after listening to the explanation of this chapter. I hope you understand the explanation of this chapter. It was all about the little girl, the prose section of unit 3 of Beehive. And student, I hope that you all are taking proper care of your hygiene and of your health. And I also hope that you are staying at home. Stay home and stay healthy. Take care of yourself. Thank you, students.